Hello, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome to the uh, What Potney Podcast, episode 3? 4. 3.
I think it's 4. I think we lost 3.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. 3 happened on Halloween.
Okay.
Anyway.
And who are you?
My name's Caleb. You can find me on Instagram as Caleb9513 or on Ravelry as CalebJeffrey13. And who are you?
And I'm Bonnie, but you can call me Mom because that's what he calls me. And I'm Bonnie Austin 18 on Twitter and Austin Bonnie 1 on Ravelry and Instagram.
Yeah, and if you want to find me on Twitter, it's the same as my Instagram, Caleb9513. So, coming at you a while after we intended to. We recorded
Well, we had an episode that was great that we thought we recorded and it didn't record, so we couldn't post it. And then life has just been busy. So, but here we are getting ready for the holiday. We're past Thanksgiving and getting ready for Christmas, and it'll be here before we know it. So we wanted to get a quick podcast in.
Christmas cows, nutcrackers, and a tree. Ooh. You know, your video is very nice.
Thank you. I can take no credit for the tree. Bruce, my husband, is the decorator, and he takes care of that. I learned very early in our marriage to not mess with the tree. He's a little OCD when it comes to the tree. So I just don't even touch it. So that's okay with me. I don't have to do it then.
Yeah, he's definitely very controlling about it. He doesn't have OCD, but he does like to be in control of the tree.
And I have to admit, as I watch Caleb decorate, there's a little bit of similarity there.
I am one person who lives in this house. No one else is going to see it. Didn't stop me from putting out my nutcrackers.
There you go.
Is my screen dark, or is my video dark, or is it just my screen?
It must just be your screen. You look great.
I don't believe you. Like my side looks kind of gray. Your side is more yellow.
No, I mean, yes, I'm more yellow than you are, but you're good.
Who am I coming out here with this Dorian Gray haircut and a giant ass shiny forehead asking if
I was going to say, it's probably neither of us having our best hair day, but
dude, I cut my hair to look like this.
Okay, well.
But honestly, usually it's like, see now, okay, right now my screen is brighter. Did my video just get brighter?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
it did. It did.
Is it picking up on the shine on my forehead?
I think it is.
Jesus fucking. Okay, I'm going to go get a hair tie. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Well, while Caleb gets a hair tie, we are just in the midst of the end of Thanksgiving, or the end of November. We had a great Thanksgiving day with all of the kids. We went to Wichita to be with Joshua and Madison in their home, and Caleb came down from Kansas City, and Jonathan was there. So it was a great time.
Responsibly.
Yes, everyone was responsible. Lola and Ivy even got to come to Thanksgiving, and the dogs were wonderful.
What I'm saying is, like, we weren't irresponsible with being
with COVID.
In a group. Yes.
Yeah.
Lots of people didn't get to be with their families. But I don't leave my house Nor do my parents really.
No.
So I
And
don't know that
Madison works from home, so Joshua's the only one, and Kate and Jonathan is at school. It's very, very restrictive. So, yep, we were socially conscious.
I really don't like the way that I look.
You look great.
Okay. Cute cows.
Cute cows.
Where this came from, this theme.
Well, didn't Grandma get you the Christmas cows?
Grandma got me that one.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Manny got me that one. You remember him? And then, but like they got me those because of my cow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And where'd you come up with it? I think the cows behind you bought first.
I agree, but why?
Because you liked them. You just thought they were cool art.
This one speaks to me.
Yeah.
And that one, actually, I like that one the most.
Yeah.
She's got pretty eyes.
What do they say? You said they speak to you. What do they say?
Moo. Just give me a little moo.
Moo.
A little moo in the morning. Good moo.
Good morning, Caleb.
Moo.
Okay.
Oh. How does anybody watch this? Anyway, so then we had Thanksgiving. I came home on Friday, put up my decorations, and really haven't done a whole lot. I was conscious in taking the time off that I needed. So I didn't do any work like that I'm being paid for until today. And I did about 3 hours worth of work. But all of my seesaw activities are created, all of my videos are recorded for the week, and all of my type A teammates are very happy.
Very good. Very good.
I would have rather spread out that 3 hours over 5 days, but that's just me.
Sometimes making others happy is more important.
I know. All right. You got foes.
Well, it's interesting because my foes are like in Kansas City. So you're going to have to show my foes.
So one of your foes is not here. It got taken to Yarn Social yesterday.
But I can show you the other. I can show you one similar.
Yep. But we'll do that last, and then that'll move into whips.
Okay.
So go ahead and talk about these.
Well, Caleb last Christmas had gotten some skeins of yarn, sent them to someone who had a sock machine, and had them do some tubes for him. So he had these tubes now for a year and said, "Oh, I'm just not getting to them." And I said, "I will take them home and let me see what I can do." So this is the first I had worked with a sock tube. So I did ribbing. I did ribbing, and I wanted to do on all three pair. I wanted to do both the ribbing and the toe out of the yarn of the actual sock. So I went in, and this was the first I'd really picked up stitches. So this was a new experience for me. But I went in and picked up stitches and then unraveled the yarn to where I had my needles and then knit the ribbing. And then I did the same thing with the toe, decided where I wanted, measured how long I needed the sock to be, picked up stitches with my needles, and you look like a steward in an airplane pointing to the emergency signs. Anyway, then unraveled and did my toe. Then I had never done a afterthought heel before. So that was a brand new process for me. And me,
this bitch did it flawlessly.
well,
Mom,
not flawlessly, but they're pretty darn good.
tell where you picked up the stitches.
Yeah. I went and watched the video. Oh, help me.
Kirby Werbies.
Kirby Werby. Thank you. Yes. I always want to say Jiffy Whiffy. And I know that's not right. Anyway, Jody and the Grocery Girls had talked about Kirby Werby's video on a afterthought heel, and that she had used that and learned well from that. And so that's the one I did. And it was so easy. The hardest part for me was picking up the stitches. So what I actually ended up doing was, well, I've got another tube here. So what I actually ended up doing was laying this on the table and then taking like a 0 double point and deciding where I wanted to pick up, and picked up my stitches with a 0. And then you skip a row and you do the next one so that you have 2 double points there. Then you snip the yarn in between, but you do it in the middle, and then you just start unraveling. So you have a salvage yarn on this side and a salvage yarn on that side that later you can go back and weave in. Yeah. So it was a little bit of trial and error. That I don't like picking up stitches, but it's getting better. It's getting easier. I'm getting better at it.
Yeah. So that tube that she just held up was an Arnie and Carlos Regia, as is this.
This needs to get done yet before Christmas.
And that's for somebody in the house.
Yes.
This is for my brother Joshua from me, as is this. He's a funeral director, and I thought these were very funeral appropriate. But then, and this is Regia as well.
Now, one thing I would have done differently, Caleb, on the other pair. No, not that one. The other one. Yeah. Hold up. Show the heels. No, show them both. Okay. See, that bothers me. They don't match.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I did. And if I had to do it, again, I would do it like that. Yeah.
You know who's really not going to notice?
Yeah, Joshua's not going to care.
Or notice.
Anyway, but that's one of the things I would do differently.
Mm-hmm. And then I said, when I had these sent off, this was the pair that I really wanted for myself, and it's an opal. I think Opal's sock yarn is the superior sock yarn between Opal and Regia. It's just the slightest bit lighter, which makes it finer, but I like it. And of course, me with my monster feet, Mom couldn't use leftovers for the heel. So this is actually some Lola Bean leftovers from the sweater she's actually wearing. Mm-hmm. What sweater is that?
This is my City Limits sweater. But you've seen it before. My City Limits sweater is a fade with mohair. And I've been wearing it quite a bit now the last month or so. And so now you get to kind of see what mohair does with wear. It pills a bit. But I love it. I love it.
Do you get hot?
Sometimes.
I'm afraid I'm never going to be able to wear my mohair sweater because I just get too hot.
Yeah.
Anyway. So those are your finished objects. I'm trying to think, or do you have any others?
Just the ones that you took to Yarn Social, I think, are the only other finished objects I have.
Okay, I think I have one. Y'all, if you could see the mess. Yeah, I have one sorry for the earthquake on the table. That kind of goes in with whips as well. But I have a hat.
I like that hat.
Too. So this is an improvised Aran weight hat. I'm trying to show it to you without any shadows. Again, we really need to do this in the daylight. Whatever. And this, like I said, is an improvised Aran beanie that I came up with using Ram U Winterburn Aran in the Viking color and what's the gray called? Yorkstone. Viking and Yorkstone. So I just had these in my stash, and why did I cast this on? Was I having like a panic attack?
Yep, you were struggling. And you said, I'm going to make a hat.
Oh, yeah. And then like 4 hours later, I had a hat.
Yep.
So I did not come up with this motif. This motif is from the book that's all the way across the table. Alternate, which is a stitch dictionary for colorwork motifs. And this is a great resource. I just thought, okay, I need an Aran weight hat. That means about 80 to 90 stitches. Let's say 90. So I went and looked for a pattern that could be divisible or could divide into 90. And if I needed more or less, I could choose that. But I went with the twisted. And see, this is a little deceptive because it's shown like staggered, like if you have more than one.
Right.
So anyway, but I did that. I love this book. I've been flipping through it. There's lots of cool, you've been around podcasts, you know what's in here. I mean, they have cats, they have skulls, elephants, brains, and scarab.
What are those?
They're zombies, but it's called brains.
Oh.
And then these are scarab beetles. And that's a book published by Andrea Rangel. So highly recommend it. And then that goes into my whip. Do you have any more finished objects?
Nope.
Okay, so then we'll start with whips. So with the leftover yarn, I thought, oh, that hat is so big and squishy. Let's make some mittens. So again, improvise mittens. And one of the fingerless mittens, because I was afraid of running out of the orange. And surprise, I did. So I could have made them full-length mittens, but that's okay. I still like these. And what I did is I was talking to Mom, and I was casting these on. And the repeat is, or the motif is 30 stitches across. And so when I cast on 64 stitches on size 7s in Aran weight yarn. I got to going and I thought, this is way too big. And I used my reasoning and said, is my wrist 2/3 the circumference of my head? No, dumbass, that's too many stitches. So what I did was I took the chart and split it in half so that I only had 15. And then on the other one, I'll split that one in half, but the reverse or the mirror. And then so that way when I do this and talk so you can't hear me and play peekaboo, I'll have the pattern motif, this pattern motif on my hands. So
That'll be cool.
yeah. On the reverse, I just did an every other alternating thing.
And is that just a slip then? Or how'd you do that color work?
Dark, light, next round, light, dark, light, dark.
Okay.
Oh, do you want to see my floats?
Sure. That's always the cool part.
I knit these on double points, the mittens, just because if I'm doing small circumference, I'd rather do that. And I had a little weirdness with the tension when we were switching sides. But anyway, there are my floats for the mitten.
Very nice.
And then my floats for the hat are, if I do say so myself, impeccable.
Beautiful.
I'm really good at stranded.
You are.
So I did run out of orange yarn though. Didn't have enough to make a second mitten, but fear not, I bought this yarn at Yarn Social the first time we came up here to look at houses. And I just happened to have to go because Mom sent up some donations for something we're going to talk about in a second. And I just happened to have a lot of points because I spend a lot of money on yarn at Yarn Social. So I was able to get another skein of the orange for like $5 because I had enough points to
Those are
redeem.
your loyalty points.
So love that. I now have enough to make a second mitten. That will be done in the next couple days, I'm sure. What do you have for whips?
Very good. Well, earlier we've talked about a gift that I'm making, and I showed this to you earlier. It's my my tartan. Oh, help me out. My toque tartan.
Toque.
Toque tartan.
A
It's
toque
both the Cowl.
that you do with a marijuana cigarette. A toque is a Canadian hat.
Okay. All right. So I have my hat and cowl that I have made. And this is for a Christmas gift. And then these were from Tracy Miller, one of the grocery girls. This is her pattern. Then she created and posted the pattern, the matching pattern for a mitten. So I, of course, had to get more yarn, but luckily I got it at Yarn Social, so I knew right where to go. And so this is one of my current whips. I have one mitten finished. I haven't blocked this yet. And I'll tell you, I've got experience blocking one of these, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But when it blocks, it takes this ridge out, these ridges out, and it blocks really, really nicely. So this is mitten 1, and mitten 2 is on the needles, just about done with my thumb gusset. And once I get done with that, then it goes a whole lot faster. So I don't have to count so much and think so hard once my thumb gusset is finished. So these will be done. These are Christmas gifts, so they'll be done soon.
And what yarns are you using?
These are both old rusted chair yarn. Okay, old rusted chair. Like I said, I got this at Yarn Social. It is a Squish DK base. And the two colors, one is mineral, and the other one fell on the floor.
Oil slick, right?
Oil slick, yes. Okay, oil slick is my
It's the variegated one.
the variegated one. And then mineral is just a gray. And what I did was I chose to hold the gray with a mohair. Tracy in her pattern recommended a mohair with both the hat and the cowl. She didn't use mohair in her mitten, but just for consistency's sake, I wanted to. It'll be interesting to see, a mitten just gets so much more wear and so much more rubbing. So I'm assuming that the mohair is probably going to pill on it a little bit, but it's all right. I wanted to keep it consistent, so
inside.
What's that?
They'll be extra warm and fuzzy on the inside.
Yes, yes, they will. They will. So this particular pattern, both in the hat and the cowl and the mittens, is a slip stitch pattern. So check out my floats. Ooh. If Caleb can brag on his, I can brag on mine. The only thing about color work that I'm learning I don't like so much is when you're finished, you got a lot of ends to weave in. But oh well, a sacrifice you make for beauty. Anyway, the why I said I know that this will, when it blocks, this will come out flat. This is actually the third mitten of this pattern that I made, this being the fourth mitten in this pattern. On the first ones that I did, I didn't do a swatch. And I just went by this.
Did with a cowl.
What's that?
Even though you did with the cowl and the hat.
Yeah. Well, I went by the needle recommendations in the pattern, and I obviously knit a lot tighter than Tracy does. And the first mitten I made was like a child size. And this is an adult that's getting the gift. So I didn't know what to do. I was going to just, say, forget it. And then I thought, no, I'm not going to rip all this out. I'll just leave it. And I'll start knitting with larger needles for this pair. And then Caleb was talking about the Yarn Social charity that we'll tell you a little bit more about. And I said, you know what? Hey, why don't I make a second small mitten? And then we can donate those for the Christmas box. And so that's what I did. I finished up the second mitten the day before Thanksgiving, and I did the whole mitten in one day. But that's about all I did, was knit. Mm-hmm. But I knew I wanted to get it done because I wanted to take it to Caleb, and so I did. I got it done.
Hey, wasn't it?
It what?
It was a fabulous.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Well, I'm interrupting you too. It was a fabulous day of knitting, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I enjoyed it greatly.
The charity Mom is talking about, and actually she probably knows more about it than I do, but Yarn Social through the 30th, so through tomorrow, is taking donations for to support the Lakota and Navajo elders at Pine Ridge Reservation. Navajo elders need help with warm coats, sleeping bags, space heaters, boots, and more. You can support them with a donation and or a retweet to help spread the word. Thanks so much. And that's from Friends Pine Ridge Res on Twitter. Reservation, excuse me. And yeah, if you're in Kansas City and see this tonight, you can still take donations tomorrow. But I had some shawls that I don't wear from my early days in knitting. Mom had some hats, those mittens.
A scarf.
And so when I went and picked up my yarn, dropped those off as well. And they're going to they're going to a place where they're needed. So
yeah, Pine Ridge is a reservation in South Dakota, and that's of course where I grew up, is in South Dakota. So anyway, near and dear to my heart.
And we drove. Is the one that we drove through when we went to Mitchell the last time?
No, it's a little further west.
Okay.
Than that.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'll go next with more whips. I have lots of chaos on my table right now with whips, so I'm just gonna go. So in the spirit of holiday knitting, I pulled and sock tubing. I pulled out the sock tubes that I've been working on since last Christmas for me. And these are timber yarns in a Christmas colorway I don't remember with white heels, toes, and cuffs. And these are for me. I have the first one done. I'm almost done with the toe of the second one. So there's that. This is the most chaos thing because all of the yarn is in a plastic bag. I have more bags. I need more.
You have so many bags. How is it you need more? You need more because you don't have all your projects finished.
Exactly. And those will get done in this week, I'm sure. And then let me show one more whip, and then I'll let you go. Or do you have any more?
I don't have any more other than what you brought me.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll keep going. So these are a new cast on from last time we spoke. Wow, they look really small.
They do.
Weird. I mean, they don't look small in person. So,
well, but you were just holding up a tube. I mean, and tubes are really long, so.
So this was my election night. I'm so anxious cast on that I don't want to knit on anything and really mess it up. So I just cast on a vanilla sock out of some West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply in last year's holiday colorway, which is very autumnal, very 70s, I think. I really like it. And these are for my dad for Christmas. So
can you tell what kind of these are for him as well? Can you tell what kind of socks he likes?
So there's that. This is just a vanilla sock. I have 2 more sock whips. Can I show those?
Two more.
I have 2 more sock whips, a sweater, a blanket, and a towel, and some cross stitching. Where is my brain been?
Not focused.
No. This is another sock whip that I've shown before, and it's just a little bit of progress. This is my office knitting for when other teachers are teaching and we're all on the Zoom, or we have PD and we're all on a Zoom. This is the Prairie Sock by Kay from the Bakery Bears. Knit on size 1.5 needles. And it's
hold it a little closer to your camera.
Well, when I do that, the shadow gets really bad.
Okay. Oh, there, that's good. Yep. Good.
And this is knit out of some cat sandwich fibers. And it's a sparkly base. I don't know if you can see the sparkle or not. And this is the second sock. And this is for my sister-in-law for Christmas. So I have dad, twin, sister-in-law covered so far. Did I say I had another sock whip? I did.
You did.
It's a cool one too. This one was just cast on during the podcast that was not meant to be, I guess, and have not been worked on since. Don't know when I'll get back to them. But these are my Dia de Muertos socks. And how effing cool are they? So this is a free pattern on Ravelry. It's actually from Knitty, and it's called the Pair of Normal Socks. It's a free pattern on Knitty that you can access from Ravelry, and it's mosaic colorwork, so it's slip stitches. I'm knitting this using 2 skeins of To the Max yarns. The black is just a black, And the multi is one of their Halloween colorways. And I cast this on Halloween when nobody came to my house to trick or treat. And I have two, if I remember correctly, I have 2 more rows in a heel flap. And then I'll do a heel turn and get to work on the foot. I don't know that a second sock of this will happen anytime soon.
Maybe before next Halloween.
Or maybe it'll get cast on next Halloween. Because here's the deal, they're not going to fit me. I don't know who they're going to fit. So, anyway, they're really cool.
Yes, they're cool. Very cool.
So, those are all my sock whips. I may have 2 more pair of socks to knit for Christmas. I may just not have any. I haven't decided yet. So, do you want me to keep going with whips? Because I have
Yep.
more.
Keep going.
Okay. In the spirit of, again, distraction, I have a bunch of this Lion Brand Cupcake yarn, which is like a gradient cake. I think I have like 10 balls of this that I bought to make an Afghan for myself, for my house in Dodge City that I no longer live in. But it actually, the color scheme kind of goes in here as well. So anyway, I have about 10 balls of this, and I thought, I just want to play with it. I want to see what it's all about. And so I started a crochet corner-to-corner blanket with it. And to tell you the truth, I'm not super wowed, but I don't know why I thought I would be wowed by it. I mean, it's doing what it's advertised to do. The social worker at our school is having a baby. And so I think I'm going to make this into a baby size blanket, just like a nice little lap blanket. And just have it on reserve. The other option is Jonathan around?
No, he's back in the bedroom.
Is making it into like a throw size blanket for Jonathan for Christmas. Because it's acrylic, it's easy to take care of. It's not awful, it's still soft, it'll be nice and warm. And he's not a big wool socks person. And he doesn't need any more hats.
There's a story behind that one. Caleb kind of offered his hat that he just finished.
The beautiful, squishy, lustrous Woolburn Bahram U BFL Massam British wool, beautiful, retro, gorgeous hat.
And Jonathan said, I like it, but I really don't need another hat.
He said, I like it, but I don't want it.
Oh, he didn't say it that way.
Yeah, he said, I like it, but I don't want it because I don't need another hat.
Well, he's being practical. You've already knit him 2 beautiful hats. Whatever.
So that's that. I got 2 more projects.
Okay.
Earthquake. I'll show you this next. So I thought I'd have this done over Thanksgiving break. I actually thought I'd have it done in time for Thanksgiving. That didn't happen because I got distracted with a hat. But this is my Montrealer sweater. And I can't see the camera. Can you see it?
Yep, looking good.
And so far, I have a sleeve, the body, and almost 2 panels of a hood. That's a big hood.
It is a big hood.
How
do you connect that in the back?
So it'll be a 3-needle bind off on top. And then I think you just sew it, like with stitches together on the inside. At least that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
It fits really well. The sleeves, as with most sweaters, I just improvised to make them fit for what I want. And because it was a raglan, it already came down pretty low on my arm. Like I think it came to my elbow, if not just a little bit past, by the time I was done with the increases to account for these. So I didn't have a whole lot of sleeve to knit. And this is knit out of Rosa Pomar Mungo, which is a wool cotton blend. It's recycled wool cotton blend. And this is in the color starts with an A. No.
Is it not listed?
Not on here.
I don't remember.
I want to say Avera, but that's a hospital in South Dakota. I don't remember, but it's like a brownie tan mauve kind of deal. And I have like 3 balls left so far to finish out the hood and the sleeve. So not bad.
Not bad.
Really enjoy it. So, and then for the last knitting whip, living in Rick Winsey Stitches bag, is a commission because I've got a washer and dryer to buy. I'm tired of hauling my laundry down the interstate to get to do my laundry. So this is a cowl. It's called the Little Creek Cowl. And
A little closer to your camera. There you go.
And what this is a free pattern, so I don't feel bad telling you the secret sauce, is it's ribbing. And then where you have those patterns, amoebas, I think they look like vaginas. They are drop stitches. So that'll be nice. I'm knitting this out of Asylum Fibers. This is the first time I'm working with Asylum Fibers in the colorway Tough Stuff. I just had it in my stash, and it's actually a fingering weight that I'm holding double because the pattern is a DK weight. And wow.
Okay, angle the top back just a little bit. There you go, because then the light hits it beautifully.
So that is
very good.
I'm about halfway done. I cast this on last night. And I have a good audiobook that I need to finish, so I assume this will be done either tonight or tomorrow.
And earlier you had said to me that it seems really small, but you're right, with blocking that's gonna block open.
It's relaxed, and that's 104 stitches or something like that.
Yeah.
But because it is a 2x2 ribbing essentially with some decorative genitals, I mean, come on, look at it.
Please don't tell your client that you're knitting it for.
I'm not wrong. So yes, it does have a lot of stretch, and it's called a buff. Like the pattern is a buff, so I don't know if that's like a special kind of cowl, but blocking, I mean, it'll still be elastic, but I plan to block the hell out of it so that it drapes a little bit more. So.
Yep. Very good.
I have a cross-stitching whip. Do you want me to show that, or?
Sure.
Okay, so I have these cross-stitch pieces that I bought for my office. I don't enjoy cross-stitching, It's not my thing. But I like the look of it. Like I like the primitiveness. And anyway, like I like the aesthetic of it. I don't like doing it. But this, and I'll just show this briefly. This is a safe space embroidery kit, and that's the pattern. So please don't pause and whatnot. But that's from June. This is from Junebug and Darling, and it is a kit. So I came with a needle minder. All the floss came on this really cute library card with the DMC numbers labeled. And like I've already done these 4 colors, and so I have leftovers that I can use, but this is how it's coming along.
Looking good.
Just a really vintage font that says safe space, and it's in rainbow order. Now the back looks a little horrific, but it's actually not that bad. I just have to trim the ends because I haven't been trimming them. But I have very cognizant of like how things not crossing over things. Like there's a couple places like in the A where if you look really closely and it's lit up from the back, you can see where I've crossed.
That, right.
But other than that, I've been doing a really good job of keeping it neat, I think. But also, I really don't give a damn because it's gonna it has the kit came with a backing that you just close it up and you'll never see it.
Yep.
What did Grandma always say?
But anything worth doing is worth doing right. And in work like that, your back should be just as beautiful as your front.
Exactly.
I grew up doing lots of those types of projects for 4-H, and we took them to county fairs and things like that. And that was one of those things that Mom drilled into my head, that the back needs to look just as good as the front. And we did well. We always did well at the fair, so it paid off.
Well, because it shows good technique if your back is looking nice. So,
yep.
Those are all my whips.
Very good. Well, the only other whip that I have is on Thanksgiving, Caleb brought me a bag with yarn and said, "Mom, will you please finish this for me?" And it's his city limit sweater. So he's got about, what'd you say, about 6 inches or so of the body left.
I have 30 rows plus a ribbing, so about 45 rows. And then
of the body and sleeves. So I told him that wouldn't happen until all of my gift knitting was done. But then I'll gradually work on it for him.
It's something that I want. It's something that I will cherish. I just don't want to finish it. And part of it is because it's so heavy. And part of it is like, it's a mohair sweater. I'm only going to wear mohair sweaters when I'm in the fucking tundra. Or like when we go and do our cute like city lights tour. And we like to stand by the World War I memorial and look at Union Station. And
okay. Whatever. So anyway, so I'm going to be working on that as well. But that's not top priority right now.
That's okay.
Okay. How about acquisitions? Have you had any acquisitions as of late?
Yes. I'm trying to think. I think I just have the one thing. Besides the RMU. What about you?
I just have one thing as well. I've got a bunch of stuff coming, but right now I just have one thing that has arrived. So let me show it to you. This is it's called Merry Everything and Happy Always mini set. Isn't that pretty? Mm. And this is by rosehillyarns.com, Rose Hill Yarns. And I actually purchased this on the Grocery Girls website, and they're out of their store.
I did not know that they have minis.
Yes, they do.
They
That's
have
pretty.
things that I didn't realize they have.
Yeah, with this, I purchased this, and I purchased, they have a new, they're carrying a new brand of wool wash that I wanted to try. So I purchased that and these minis, and yeah, Rose Hill Yarns.
Beautiful.
That's the only acquisition I have right now. Like I said, there were some great sales for Black Friday online at some of the people that we purchased quite a bit from. So I've got some yarn on its way, but not here yet.
Mm-hmm. And I have not shopped because I don't have the money to. I moved into an old house and we got things like leaky ceilings and no washer and dryer. And
priorities.
Anyway, one thing
isn't adulting fun?
I hate that word.
Why is that?
That word, adulting. It's being
Yeah.
adult. Adulting is no, being an adult.
Okay. Don't you enjoy being an adult?
I mean, I'm very proud to live in this house and have autonomy over my body and my resources. But it's very expensive. Adult.
Yes.
Anyway, one thing I did order because I forgot about my car payment and thought, oh wow, I have some extra money. Let's just go treat ourselves because you've been working hard and the world is scary and you are still here. So I ordered from the Grocery Girls their winter kit that came with an ornament that is on my tree, a sticker that is on my laptop, a beautiful bundle of yarn from Flock Fibers in the Fireside DK. This one is called Snow Much Fun, Winter Green, and Deep Freeze. And it's just gorgeous. Oh my God, look at my son. Look at my son in that chair. You see him?
Oh, Baxter. Yeah, in mine, you mean.
So cute. And then it came with a pattern. It came with
actually 2 patterns.
It came with Tracy's Frost Tooth and Jody's Holly Jolly hat. So I'm still undecided if I'm going to do the Frost Tooth or the Holly Jolly hat. But that'll probably get cast on soon because I'm enjoying this instant gratification and getting yarn out of my stash. I've actually been doing a pretty good job of it. So there's that. And then I think my favorite part of this whole kit was the little bar of Tuft Woolens that came with it because it smells so good. This is
what's it called?
Called Cranberry Pucker, and I believe it's an exclusive to the Grocery Girls. You can buy it in this kit, or they have like a Tuft Woolens gift set that has a lot of their Pom Pom Pucker, which is like a lemon bar scent, and then so it has like the Pom Pom Pucker soap, the Pom Pom Pucker lotion, and the Pom Pom Pucker lip scrub, and then 1 bar of the Cranberry Pucker. I want everything in Cranberry Pucker. It smells so good.
I can't smell it.
Oh, you wish you could.
I do wish I could.
I actually have it living in the bag with the commission that I have. Because you know how hand-dyed yarn sometimes smells like rotten eggs and shit? It smelled like rotten eggs and maybe not shit, but definitely some sulfur that would be emitted from a person. And so it's been helping out quite a bit. What?
Well, then it's appropriate what the pattern looks like.
I wouldn't know.
Okay, onward.
What else?
See what you do to me? See what you do to me? You just bring it out of me.
We're products of our environment.
Oh, well.
What did you do to me?
See, you broke up there. I couldn't hear you.
What did you do to me that made me the way I am?
Oh, that was your dad's fault. All of the really good characteristics that you have come from me.
I don't think Bruce would ever go, look at this cowl, there's a vagina.
And you think I would? No, that one you came up with on your own.
Whatever.
Whatever.
That's all the fibery stuff that I have.
Hey. Well, so
I got some books.
what have you been reading or watching? We finished The Crown.
Yeah,
we jumped on season 4, and we tried really hard to make the 10 episodes last at least 2 weeks, but that didn't happen. But it was good. It was enjoyable. We liked it. And I decided the other morning, I was up really early and flipping through channels and didn't want to watch anything that was on normal television. So I hopped onto Netflix and thought I need a new series. So I watched the first episode of Ozark. Have you seen or heard of that?
I've heard
the first episode was really good and not anything that I expected. So it kind of caught my interest, and I think I'll be watching some more of that.
Very good. I've been doing a lot of reading, partially because my Goodreads goal is coming up. I have to have 4 more books read to meet my goal. No, 3 more. So I've been catching up with that. I can tell you what I've read and how good they were. Any books that I read or finish, that I was just getting ready to lie to you. Never mind. I was going to say.
You were going to say you like them, and there was one that you finished that you didn't like.
So here's the deal. I am now the kind of reader after this experience where I will say all of the books that are listed on my Goodreads as read, or the books that I read, are ones that I enjoy. Like they're going to get 4 or 5 stars because I'm not going to read books that I don't enjoy. I'm going to allow myself to say, no thanks. But since we last spoke, I read Real Men Knit by Quanah Jackson. It was okay. It got 3 stars from me. It was set in a yarn store. It was more romance centered than it was yarn centric, but it was still really cute. She Come By It Natural by Sarah Smarsh, who is a native Kansan, and this is an exploration of feminism through the lens of Dolly Parton and the author's upbringing. And it was fantastic.
Right. And you convinced me to read that one as well. And so I read via audiobook while I drive places.
I listened
and that was actually a one trip read. But the funny thing was as I was driving home, I was probably only about maybe 5 miles from home, and there was about 15 minutes left of the book. And it's like, if I drive the rest of the way home, I probably won't sit in the garage and finish this, but I really want to finish this. So I literally pulled over at Ford County Lake which is like about 5 miles from my house, pulled over and sat there for 15 minutes, listened to the end of the book, and knit so that I could say I finished this book on this trip.
And it's a good book.
It was a good book.
It's a great lens to look at the work of Dolly Parton through. She's lived an incredible life, for sure. That one was 5 stars. Then I went home to Dodge City for a weekend, which was prime listening time. Was not prime because I thought I got COVID on the
But you didn't.
didn't. Had a great time at the wedding. It was amazing. I just thought I had COVID when I came home. And did you know when they do the nasal swab, they can take a stool sample now?
Let's not go there again. Because it's all connected. It's one way or another.
It is all connected. They don't do that. It's just a very invasive procedure. So anyway, on the way there, I listened to Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, which is the author of Gone Girl and Dark Things, I think, or Dark Shadows or something like that. Great suspense author. Very much enjoyed that. Gave that 5 stars. And then Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. Also very good with a fantastic twist at the end. Didn't care so much for the POV. It was written in first person for pretty much the whole thing, first person present. And it was very dialogue heavy. So there was a lot of telling and not showing. Personal preference. But you'll see writing is something that really I look at when I'm critiquing a book or enjoying a book, which we'll get to when I get to my latest one. Then we had When We Were Magic by Sarah Galey, and this was the one that I made myself finish because I was 67% of the way through the book. It was a library book, which I'm very into the public library right now, and very into groceries. Did you know you can buy food and just own it to have at your house? Wow. And it was a good, it's written for YA, and I'm finding out that I'm just not young adult anymore. That's not my audience. But that was a decent book. The Lions of Fifth Avenue was another library book that came through, and that was like a cozy mystery in the New York Public Library with dual timelines that meet up at the end, and it was really good. It was all about rare book theft and mystery and intrigue within departments of collections, and I really liked it. Don't know that it'd be your favorite. Did I tell you need to read Lock Every Door?
No, you didn't.
I do think you'll like that one. I do. Then on the way to and from Wichita, I read Commonwealth by Ann Patchett. Ann Patchett is the author of The Dutch House, which I read earlier this year and thoroughly enjoyed. Commonwealth was similarly enjoyable. And then
yes, I recommended this one to you.
yes. And I just got we got about 15-minute warning on my computer, so I won't wax poetic. But oh my God, best book of 2020, hands down, for me. It was incredible. And that book is Valentine by Elizabeth Wetmore. And I actually went, Elizabeth, I know Liz Wetmore. Is that? And it's not her. But I'm just going to read you the description of the book and then tell you how amazing it is. So the description says, It's February 1976, and Odessa, Texas stands on the cusp of the next great oil boom. While the townsmen embrace the coming prosperity, its women intimately know and fear the violence that always seems to follow. In the early hours of the morning after Valentine's Day, 14-year-old Gloria Ramirez appears on the front porch of Mary Rose Whitehead's ranch house, broken and barely alive. After a vicious attack in a nearby oil field, this act of brutality is tried in the churches and bar rooms of Odessa before it can reach a court of law. When justice is evasive, the stage is set for a showdown with potentially devastating consequences. Valentine is a haunting exploration of intersections of violence and race, class and region, and a story that plumbs the depths of darkness and fear, yet offers a window into beauty and hope, told through the alternating points of view of indelible characters who burrow deep into the reader's heart. This fierce, unflinching, and surprisingly tender novel illuminates women's strength and vulnerability and reminds us that it is the stories we tell ourselves that keep us alive. And wow, was it a story. So to my comment about writing, and this is a total nerd thing, but this is why it's impactful and why you need to know about this, okay? The story is mainly told from third-person omniscient point of view, which means it's an all-knowing narrator that tells you what Mary Beth is doing, what tells you Gloria is doing, what tells you so-and-so is doing, and you also get a glimpse into their thoughts. An omniscient is all-knowing. There is one chapter in this book told from the point of view where I think she's probably the main character. I'd say Mary Rose is the main character. She's kind of the intersection of being an outcast in the city, being empathetic, being scared. And there's one chapter that is written from her perspective in first person present, where she's using pronouns like, I said this, I said that, I saw that, he laughed at me. And I went to bed mad after reading that chapter and just sick because it's in the courtroom. And oh, so good. I'm glad that I have this in a hardcover. This was actually a book of the month, which I believe in a previous podcast I've talked about how book of the month did some kind of weird things with their response to the protests this summer, and they've definitely changed their tune and showed that they're doing some work. So I've actually resubscribed to Book of the Month for that reason. But oh my gosh, if you can get this book, get it from your library. I checked the KCPL catalog, and they have several copies of it available in print. All of the audiobook copies are put on hold. Same for ebooks, but it is so good. And it's a really good just like use of setting, like the setting of West Texas compared to, and like the prosperity of men. Like it kind of talks about the experience of like, because men have this privilege, they can prosper anywhere, or they can be in the shittiest of situations and still find something, whereas women have to fight, have to claw, have to put themselves out into dangerous situations and ultimately take control of situations that they shouldn't have to take control of because they're women, or they're put into those situations because they're women, not that they shouldn't not be able to take care of them because they're women. You know what I mean? And just in that setting, it's a good example of writing. Like immediately I thought, this can teach point of view, voice, setting really well. So if my English teacher friends, Amy tell Rachel, this book I think would be a good replacement for maybe something that's a little dry, dead, and white. So anyway.
Yeah, it was a very good. I actually took that from as a recommendation from Jenna Bush Hager on the Today Show, and her Jenna reads. She chooses a book every month, and so I've been listening through those books, and that was one of her picks as well. And there again, I think for her too, growing up in Texas, and so she had a lot of connection to that region, and that was one of the things that stood out for her.
Mm-hmm. Totally. What else are you reading?
I don't have my iPad with me, so I can't give you titles. Like I said, I'm going.
Are you reading Galey's latest?
Was that White Ivy? Isn't that one called White Ivy?
Something about inheritance.
Okay.
Well,
do you have something else to talk about while I go get my iPad? It'll take me 30 seconds.
Go get your
Talk.
Things I'm reading right now are The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson, No Place Like Home by C.J. Genovi, and American Spy, and I'm not sure who that's by. I just downloaded it onto my Kindle. The book that I'm referring to when I'm talking to Mom is Transcendent Kingdom.
And that's the one I'm just getting ready to listen to. I have not started that one yet.
Got it. Ooh, also, I've been listening to a lot of disco music, and I decided that disco era is something I don't know a lot about. I know it was fueled by Vietnam and by racial strife, and it was kind of derived from the ballroom culture as well. But I don't know a whole lot about it. So if you have recommendations of either fiction that takes place in a disco era or some nonfiction texts and titles, that'd be great. I'd appreciate it.
Okay. 3 books that I have really enjoyed as of late. One,
The Comeback.
The Comeback. Stop.
This is Audible.
Stop. Okay. One was called The Comeback by Ella Berman. This was one of Jenna's picks. Very good story about a child actress who was abused and taken advantage of by her producer and her agent right at the time that, as this was coming out, the Me Too movement was happening. So excellent story there. Also have finished a book called White Ivy by Susan Yang, which was another very, very good one, along with She Come By It Natural that Caleb was talking about Dolly Parton. So finish up those, getting ready to start Transcendent Kingdom by Ya Ghazi.
Mm-hmm. And I have that on my list. It's actually coming in my book of the month for December. And then I have her other novel, Homegoing, on my Kindle that I want to read soon. But I've heard nothing but glowing reviews of her writing. So
yeah, this is what the cover looks like. So I'm excited.
Did you hear that?
No.
The dog just ripped.
So Caleb, let's get to our title. What'd you learn from knitting this last month?
Taught me this past month? Oh, so much. I don't know. To find center in the chaos.
Okay.
I have lots of chaos going on with my projects. I'm all over the place. Had some chaos in my life. But when I pick a project and intentionally center myself around it, then I can find some solace for a little while.
Right.
What about you?
And well, but the same thing is true in your personal life. I mean, I think you can apply that to your personal life when lots of things are chaotic. Sometimes you have to just zone in on one piece and find some solace in there. So what have I learned? Actually, we were talking about this earlier today, that I've really only been a knitter for about 15 months. And I'm kind of proud of myself as to the different kinds of projects that I'm willing to take on and I'm willing to try. And one of the things I've learned is that perfection isn't necessary. You want it to look nice, but when I take a look at my mitten, there's mistakes in there. There's mistakes in the pattern. And you know what? It's okay. It's all right. Sometimes there's beauty in the mistakes as well. And that it's not necessary to say, this isn't perfect, so I'm just going to throw it out, which I think I would have tended to do a couple of years ago. So, beauty in the imperfection.
Profound.
How's that for deep? For after 9 p.m. on a Sunday night.
Really? Oh my God. Look at who my favors.
Ah, Dolly.
Well, know anything else?
I don't think so. Hopefully we'll be able to do another podcast before Christmas. Mm-hmm. We can show these projects finished and wish everybody a happy holiday.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. Well.
All right.
Thanks for stopping by, and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.